Good morning, everybody. We are going to be doing a new craft this morning. I'm filming a bunch of crafts all at once. So I'm going from one to another, to another, to another. It is what it is. I want to get these filmed, and then I can just upload and take some time for me. I'm only going to do a couple more Christmas crafts, and then you're also going to start seeing some cooking videos, Christmas cookies and things like that. I so want to do my grandmother's fruit cake because hers was never bitter. Everybody's fruit cakes are like sour, bitter, just not all that wonderful. But my grandmother, I think the biggest thing is she made her own candied fruit, which fermented for like 2 or 3 months before she would make her fruit cake. And I think that's why her fruit cake tasted so good and it was never bitter. So I just don't have time to make her fruit cake because you had to make the candied fruit ahead of time. So this is what we're going to use. We got a couple mirrors. We got some of this because I couldn't get the thick styrofoam. I wasn't paying ungodly price for a sheet of styrofoam and then having to buy two and then gluing them together onto a board anyway. So I'm just going to take two of these boards, put them together. It will be sturdy enough to hold what I'm doing. Two mirrors, like I said, the foam board, some chalk paint, some of this, a house, which I'm probably going to paint, a big deer, and I also have a wreath hanger. We're going to put all this together. We're going to make a really pretty Winter Wonderland display. So come along with me. We're going to craft. I started out by giving the house and the wreath hanger 2 coats of the Waverly chalk paint in white. I also put some chalk paint on the pine cones that I used for trees. I don't know what happened to the footage of me bending the wreath hanger, but you can kind of see here how I straightened the one end and bent the wreath hanger around. I'm not the only one that loses footage, and that kind of makes me feel good. Next, I very carefully take the mirror out of these frames. They kind of want to stick in there, so you want to very carefully take them out. You may want to use some gloves to do this. I do also save the frames and the backboard for a later project. It's just very carefully wiggling them out and sliding them the right way. And just be very careful you don't get cut because it is glass. Like I said, I also save the frame and the backboard for other projects later on. The next step, I take the 2 mirrors, I lay them the direction I want to use them onto the foam board. And I take and trace them out with a pen, and then I take my cutter and a straight edge. I actually use a 5-gallon stir stick for a straight edge, and I cut down through the foam board, and then I snap it loose. And I cut 2 pieces, and I'm going to glue them together for better stability. And you'll see that here, how easily this foam board cuts and snaps apart. I really like working with a foam board. And again, I make 2 pieces the same size, and I will be gluing them together for a sturdy base. And here you'll see that I take my wreath hanger, and I'm going to glue the flat piece down to the bottom board and glue that fast. And I was surprised how sturdy this was, even without the extra weight on top of it to hold it in place. And I do center it on the board, and then I take and glue the top board down over top of that so that it's like sandwiched in between the 2 layers. And I just use regular hot glue. And guys, I have killed 2 glue guns now. This white one has also quit. I need to buy a really good high-end glue gun for crafting as much as I use my glue guns, because this one is quitting on me now too. So I end up using 2 glue guns in order to keep hot glue going. And here I'm setting the second board on top of the first one, lining them up and then pressing down into place. And it really is very sturdy. I was shocked at how sturdy the wreath hanger was. And then I start using the other glue gun and I start hot gluing the first mirror in place on top of the foam board. And then I hot glue the second one in place beside it. And just lining the two of them up side by side, making sure they fit snug up against each other so there's no sharp edge in the center. And it went so easy and it looks so nice. And then here I am placing the second one on the foam board along with the first one and making sure the two of them are up against each other and that they line up on the foam board perfectly. And after that's done, I took my silver glitter ribbon and I run that all the way around the outside edge of this. It is the perfect height. And I knew I had another piece of this, and at the time I couldn't find it. But later on, after I was all done with the craft, I did find my other spool. So I did, after all this was done, I did go back and add the other piece to the little section that was missing at the very last little bit. You'll see that there's a part that does not have ribbon. And I did make sure that this had hot glue all up and down it. This also helped make sure that this is going to stay sturdy and together as a whole piece and not slide around or move much. It's going to help make it stay steady, if you know what I'm trying to say. It's going to make it hold and not give. And I really like how this turns out. I love working with mirrored items. I love working with lighted things. Just the aesthetic of the mirror and the soft lights is just comforting. It just really makes everything look nice and soft, and it really sets a really comforting mood, especially if people are dealing with depression and things like that. Here you'll see at the very end that I'm missing one little strip, but I've recently found my other spool and finished that off. I cannot believe how sturdy this is. I actually picked this up even with everything glued to it and shook it. Shook all the excess snow glitter off and nothing came loose, guys. This thing was so sturdy. I mean, it just amazed me. So don't ever discount layering poster board together to make a base because it works really, really well. I'll be definitely doing this more often. I think it holds better. Here I'm deciding on what pieces to use, where to place them. I don't actually glue the house down because it has an opening in the bottom for a tea light. So I'm using the battery operated ones inside of it. Now this white tree that I'm trying to place has an odd shaped bottom. When I first tried to use it, it did not want to stay. It actually fell over, and I took the other one and I cut the bottom off flush so that it was flat, and I glued it on in place of the one that I had on originally, and then I glued the other one after I cut it down and put it someplace else. But if you use these, you definitely want to, make the bottom of the tree stalk, the trunk, flat first. And I am using E6000 and hot glue, and I am also adding a little extra hot glue. You'll see later. I did lose some of the footage again. I'm glad I'm not the only creator that loses footage. I see some of the the bigger crafters lose footage too, so I don't feel quite so bad. You'll see that I actually put glue on the mirror, and I actually add a lot of the snow glitter, the fake snow. I actually love how that turned out. So all these trees and things have fake snow around them, around the deer. It just looks like the snow has kind of blowed across the mirror, across the surface. It looks so beautiful in the end. And it looks like such a high-end piece when I got done. I just was so pleased with it. I took my nippers and I cut the pine cones that had the pointy ends. I cut them down so that they would set a little better. You can see here I put the other tree up in place of the first one. And I did add a small deer here. And towards the end, you'll see that I put the big deer up on the part that goes out and makes it look like he's stepping out into the sky, like he's taking off. I was going to put a sleigh, but the sleigh did not look right. So I didn't put a sleigh on here. It was just not the right size. So I just went with what I had. It still looks beautiful. I love the way everything looks with the white and the silver. These crystals came from my friend Karen, White Witch 110 on YouTube. She sent them from Canada. She gets them at Dollarama. And I'll tell you what, when she sent them to me and I seen them, I was like, oh girl, that is exactly what I needed, was these clear crystals. I have them in other colors. Never have I been able to find them in white, the clear ones, and it's just what I needed. Thank you, Karen. And it's what I was been looking for so many projects. And I was so excited to see those when she sent them. And just thank you so much. It just really, really made this project come together. Everybody go check her channel out. And here I'm putting my Big Deer E6000 again for that long-term hold, and then hot glue for a quick hold. And it just, if you can see how I bent this hanger around so that it looks like he's just taking off into the sky. And the missing footage doesn't show me putting the lights underneath here. When I put the lights on, it actually goes from the end of this all the way underneath. And I need to go get more of these lights before Christmas is over from, I believe I got them at either Dollar Tree or Dollar General, I believe. I hope I can find more because I love working with these lights. And here I am with that wonderful fake snow. I love this stuff. I'm just obsessed with it. I put it on the house. As you can see, I've already put it on the tray. And I tipped this tray upside down and nothing fell off, guys. I am amazed. I am so amazed. Everything stayed put. And like I said, I did not glue the house down because the house is actually going to have a tea light in it. So I get all my fake snow on there. And then here I am putting the lights on. And I am missing part of the footage for that. Like I said, I'm not sure why. And I'm very careful. I did put some around the one white tree. And I'm very careful about making sure I did not melt any of my wires. So I just left it on while I did this. These are the battery operated fairy lights kind of thing. I love these lights. They're so pretty. I gotta get some more so I have them for more crafting. And just putting them on around through the mirror. And guys, this turned out so, so beautiful. And here it is, guys. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe how gorgeous this turned out. I have 3 of the most favorite DIYs I've done this winter. The sleigh and reindeer, this one, and the carousel. They just, I can't even. They're beautiful, guys. Um, this one, I can't pick my favorite of the three. And you'll see how I did the trees, the snow. I did leave a slight little bit of yellow at the windows, so it kind of looks like the light is also behind them. You can see the light in the white tree. It is just gorgeous, beautiful. It turned out so wonderful. I love working with the mirrors. I love the way this whole thing turned out with the big deer standing up there. I love anything that has to do with deer decor. So, and you can see the lights underneath there. I love this. Guys, thank you so much for following along on my DIY channel and on Haunted Ramblings both. This will probably go up on both channels. Thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting below, and thank you for subscribing. This was such a joyful, easy, fun DIY. It was not hard to do. It was easy. It was just such a joy. Thank you for following along and crafting with me. Bye, guys.